following program is intended for mature audiences.
It's the music, movies, and shows you love.
As if we care.
And hate.
You ain't gonna like it none.
And love to hate.
I didn't expect that at all.
This is The Broken Remote.
And coming to you live on tape on this Thursday, June 8th, 2023. We get the ball rolling once again. Took a little time off. Will began his newest venture, a internship of sorts, sir?
Yeah, it's
your capstone.
It's your capstone final project. It's basically slave labor, so that they can still technically call you a student for like another semester.
What is that? That doesn't exist.
Well, I'm paying to basically do an internship, so that's what I'm calling it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure slave. I mean. We all know back in the day, 3,000 years ago when the Jews put the pyramids together and they're like, well, before you grab this giant slab of sandstone, can you pay us $3,000 that we're sure you're qualified to pull this sandstone? And they went, do I get a piece of paper at the end of this? They go, why not?
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah.
Perfect. That's fucking just what we want.
Yeah.
Piece of paper, you put it in a nice little shiny frame and you hang it on your wall. That's what you do.
Yeah, and I just don't watch as Rutgers just slowly unzips their pants as I'm leaning over to get this thing done for them. And I'm like, what did I do back there?
Easy. Don't want to get canceled.
Oh, boy.
Watch your metaphors and your similes and metaphors.
Yeah.
You don't
I'm watching two pigeons have sex right now on my parents' balcony at their place right now. Oh, man. That's I just look up from my window. I'm like, oh, that's a good sign.
Well, I'm surprised you can see the pigeons banging away because nobody can see anything in the big plume of orange smoke.
Okay, that said, I feel like I've woken blessed like 3 days in a row, and when I look outside to see like the sun, it's just like you can stare directly at it. And it's not just because I'm slightly autistic that I'm looking at the sun.
That's funny because my kid was looking at it and he's like, Dad, look, it's so fucking cool. It's a red, it's the blood moon. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah, from Zelda. Yeah, he's got it. He made the same joke I did.
I'm like, dude, just don't stare at it because it's the fucking sun. It's like an eclipse. It'll probably burn your eyes out. Just, it is cool. Take a picture of it on your phone and stare at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody in their brother is all thrown, out of, their normalcy because the smoke from Canada, blame Canada, blame Canada, has come down from their 400 plus forest fires. And if I hear one more description of the environment as Blade Runner 2049 or whatever the hell it is.
Oh, dude, yeah. There's that. There's the new Diablo 4 game that came out, so everyone's like, "Oh, it is hell on earth." Great, yeah, perfect.
It's been every pop culture reference you could think of has been done, and has been done like 8 million times.
I do love your son though, just for the Blood Moon one, because that's the one I've been making the most often to my friends.
Okay,
I'm super original. The blood moon rises once again. And they're
you and my 8-year-old thinks the same. I mean, it's
exactly.
perfect.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad I've really evolved. My sense of humor has really changed and developed as time has gone on. This is great.
It's fine, dude. I mean, trust me. There's 45-year-olds pretending that they're 8 making videos just so that they make millions on YouTube. There's nothing wrong.
That's also. Well, now I'm just upset.
We're devolving, right?
Yeah.
So, we're probably ahead of the curve where we are right now.
Yeah, if you're not like wearing sweatpants as your day job at the age of 49 or something like that, while making YouTube videos with a squeaky voice, like you're just doing life wrong, because they probably are making $300,000 a year while they're playing video games, and that's not something I think about constantly. No,
fucking think about it, dude. Making tons of money, millions of dollars, playing video games on TV and having people watch you.
Should we just quit?
Let's
just make a Twitch. Let's just go make a Twitch. Yeah, Will and Rich make a Twitch. There we go. See, it rhymes. This is really a good idea. Yeah.
Rill and
God.
Witch make a Twitch.
Yeah,
Boom.
Twitch,
Fucking
yeah.
dollars.
It's just
Lottery, baby.
how
If it was
hard
only
can-
so easy. If it was
Yeah.
only that. Now, that's what I can't figure out is how do they fucking pull it off? How do all these 40-year-olds pull off acting, I acting like I'm 8 years old? And kids are like, oh, he's so fucking funny.
I don't know. I have been fascinated because you bring this up after I spent like a weekend where I was just watching those. There's those channels now that are in LA will have these like, welcome to the Cash App Thousand Thieves gaming compound that costs $50 million to make. And they'll be like, it's the most soulless looking thing you've ever seen, with a bunch of people my age to your age living our dream, let's be honest. But at the same time, they're stuck in a room playing Rocket League all day or some whatever, like the trending video game, Fortnite. Like that is their 9 to 5. Which sounds awesome, but it also sounds like it could develop into a living hell where you're like, I love playing video games.
Sure, you could lose your fucking mind. There were these two kids, Colin Keys. Have you ever heard of these two?
Kaepernick. He's a football player. Here, come on. Yeah.
Yeah, he kneels on the sidelines during the national anthem.
Not very good, but he's making bank right now.
Right, and he got blackballed because he just didn't want to stand for the national anthem, and so they decided that they didn't need any good quarterbacks in the NFL, so they were just going to blackball him. So,
exactly. What you want to do is you want to start with something that seems like a reasonable request, and then you go, wait, I'm making a shit ton of money with this, and then you just race bait to the bank. Which is a good move. I should do that with my Jewishness. I mean, just forego all morals whatsoever.
I mean, now is the time to do it, man, because I don't know how long this is going to go. So, I just don't have a leg to stand on. So I've got nothing.
Yeah.
I'm a white
you
German.
Just gotta, no,
I'm white German
right
Catholic. What the fuck good am I?
You wait just another few years. If you're Irish or something, you'd be like, well, the Irish, when they first came to America, they were really oppressed or something. There's so many ways you can go with it.
Dude, my middle name is Hans. It's not working out.
Okay, so maybe we're at an impasse then. Yeah.
I'm lucky I don't have the noose around my neck being hung from the fucking town circle, right? I mean, although it might happen before I'm dead in the ground.
Looks like we'll be going to war with Canada before anything else starts up. I mean,
we'll be going to war with ourselves at this fucking rate.
That'll be fun.
It is. I mean, it's a gasoline. It's just a big gallon. It's a big tub of gasoline that we're all standing in, and we're just waiting for the one dummy to drop the match as they light their cigarette, and then we just all go poof right up.
Speaking of gasoline, I am very excited for the inevitable Mad Max situation that will occur, because the first people everyone's gonna go after, like, it doesn't matter which side you're on, everyone's going after vegans first thing. Just like you are gonna drop kick the first vegan you see. They're not making it after hour 2.
Well, true, but
all goes down.
I mean, I might go after the vegans because they might have the tastiest meat, right? Because we're not going to be able to eat cows anymore. We're getting rid of them, right? Gas grills, cows, air conditioning units, whatever, efficient washing machines. I mean, we're just getting rid of everything, so I'm just going to eat the vegans.
Yeah, you're going to watch everyone
because they're
jump
grass-fed, right?
Exactly. You're going to watch everyone jump on their soul cycle to try to get away from you, and then you're just like, well, this is just too easy. I feel like you should give them a 5-second head start. They won't know. They're listening to new age music.
Yeah, I'm going after marathon runners and vegans because they're probably the most toned and grass fed. It's perfect. I love it. It'd probably be the tastiest of the bunch.
Exactly.
Some cannibal sushi, if you will.
A quick crowbar to the back of the head. These are the important things that we're discussing right now. We're getting everybody prepared for the inevitable collapse of society that's probably 3 days overdue, honestly, at this point.
Oh, we are years overdue at this point. It was all, literally, and not to go off too much on that tangent, but it was all good until Trump. And then Trump came through, and whatever he did,
he
broke our country. One individual person broke our country. And Donald Trump, mind you. I think we've had this conversation before.
We definitely have.
How
can you not? But it's just like, if you're playing like a video game and like you're driving the car and then you stop, like you're still pressing on the gas and the controller, but the car just starts moving on its own, slowly starts moving to the right. And, there's a point where you can correct it until eventually it crashes through the barrier and now it's falling down the canyon. And like he was just like, let's just make sure we just put this brick on this gas pedal.
There you go.
and we have plowed through this fence, and now we're just kind of waiting till we do a Looney Tunes and hit the canyon floor. So we'll see.
I think we're about there. It's very funny. Have you watched Silo at all on
No,
Apple TV?
what is that? No.
I think it's based on books. It is
Books,
a
yeah.
science fiction series. Again, it's probably already done through the book, so you can probably just read through it and know what happens. But anyway, they live in a silo, and they don't know anything about the world. Like, they just live in this silo. And so they can't go outside the silo. Anybody that goes outside the silo dies.
This better not be some M. Night Shyamalan thing where it turns out
No, it's definitely not
they're
M. Night
Amish
Shyamalan. He has a
community.
different Apple Plus
Okay. Oh,
series
God
called
damn it, of course.
Servant, I think. But this one, it's kind of cool. But anyway, there was a big cliffhanger at the end of last week because the one of the main characters, if not the main character, gets a book that's from the real world here, and they open it, and it's like, oh, what trees, and like, oh my God, and I'm just picturing them in the silo and being like, eventually getting another book, being like, there's this beautiful world, and it all existed. It was called America, and it all broke because of this man, and you just flip the page, and it's just Donald Trump.
Just see.
Fucking,
What it is funny that he
dude,
looks so much.
I broke it bigly.
Yeah. Have you seen those like 1920s, and they still do it to this day, but those like political cartoon caricatures where they just hugely over exaggerate someone's features?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, like, and they go to.
I mean, he
even
looks
more,
like that in real life.
That's what I'm saying. Like they over exaggerate it now, but in the 1920s, the way they would make like Theodore Roosevelt or Woodrow Wilson or something like that, where they really accentuate their nose, their jowls or something.
Right.
They're just like, what if we just made his skin super orange and his hair super yellow and super forward for no reason?
And
Forward.
super fat,
You'll
and
know.
turn his head super to the side and up. And
Yeah.
do everything with big
Yeah.
hand motions.
Yeah, he has raccoon eyes, but not from like any normal reason. It's just clearly he just lives in the tanning bed for sleep. When
Right. And
'cause
has
he's
his
secret of it.
and make his behavior so beyond childish at all
Mm-hmm.
times that it's amazing that the person could ever get elected into the top office for a country in the on
It makes
planet
no
Earth.
sense. Yeah, luckily, he's definitely not going to win again. I'm sure we've learned our lesson.
I have.
Right. By the way, you reminded me. So part of my internship is like I'm doing like there's something we're doing with like Netflix. So I was talking to like some guy who has like a bunch of like
Just a guy?
inside, just some guy, but he's like
On the
he's
street?
A guy. He's a guy. No, he's he knows a lot of like the stuff they're doing. I technically signed an NDA, but I haven't turned it in yet. So whoops. But so he was telling us about like a lot of the stuff Netflix is like doing behind the scenes, like the shows they're producing, and like I'm just listening
AI
to all
driven?
this, like no, none of that. They're spending like $200 million on these shows, and he's giving me like the background idea for it. So right now they're making this new show that they're calling the Game of Thrones Killer. It's based on some book series called The House of
Good luck.
Like exactly. It's based on some book series called The House of Amber. They're spending $200 million on this. The last two projects, by the way, that they spent $200 million on were like West Side Story and some other show that Dave Bautista Las Vegas movie that Zack Snyder made. That both
was that
bombed.
Zack Snyder?
Yeah, it was Zack Snyder. They
It
both
was,
bombed, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, there were two of them. There was that one, and it was a zombie one. Zombies
Yeah.
in Vegas. And
Yeah.
then there was the backup as to how the treasure actually got to that vault,
Oh,
which was
that's what I was concerned
whatever
about.
it was, yeah.
So those both bombed, according to this dude. And he's like, but yeah, what Netflix is really looking for right now, they really want to make a profit. They're really putting the money in if they think a project's going to succeed. And
sure.
he's telling me this new project based on this book series, House Amber, that they're developing, by the way, with Stephen Colbert. So that's how you know it's going to be. It's going to be talk about Lucifer falling from the heavens. Like, I read the plot of this book while this guy's like in this, like while he's talking to us, like bragging about this franchise. I cannot tell you what a colossal waste of money this is going to be.
Oh, I am sure it is.
It is like Game of Thrones fantasy, but they're also mixing it, which will segue into our next topic, like the multiverse and like high weirdo magic and all this other crazy shit that like it's something.
It's a little bit of everything.
It's like if George R. R. Martin did a bunch of meth and then was killed halfway through while writing this new book series and replaced with like his angsty teenage daughter, then that's what this book series is. And I'm so
Sounds like
excited.
it's going to be just fucking
so
surefire cash.
I'm so excited because I don't know how Netflix stays afloat at this point when they just throw this money into the wind.
Remember when we were sitting at our desk and I said, Will, this isn't fucking real life, because back in the day, companies actually had to make profit and money in order for their stock to go up through the roof. So companies like Netflix that just make shit and burn cash shouldn't have evaluations through the goddamn roof.
But they're tech. So
but they're tech.
I understand. What bubble? No, tech's great. Tech's great. No, of course you can fire all your staff and then magically turn a profit. Twitter, what are you talking about?
I mean, Tesla and Netflix, the two, they just blow my mind. Well, Tesla, I understand a little bit more if you want to go down the conspiracy theory of, like, it's really just an arm of the government, right? Because they couldn't pay anybody what they needed to.
Elon Musk fired most of the staff of Twitter. Actually, that might be true, to be fair, based on those TikToks I've seen. Have you heard that, like, now they're net negative compared to, like, throwing money into, like, the fire they were, like, a year ago?
It doesn't matter because, like, all you got to do is just look at it and, there's a government affiliation. There's no way they get away with what they do and still stand.
Every, like, piece of financial, like, fraud you see now, where the Theranos thing that happened or Bernie Madoff, you always hear, oh, well, the SEC was not equipped to, like, figure out this was happening beforehand. And then you look at, like, everything going on here with Netflix and these other companies. You're like, isn't this, like, the same? No, the SEC says they're fine.
No, they're fine.
Yeah.
How about?
They're bad at their job.
It was like 6 years ago now, but let's not forget. Fucking Musk went online and was like taking Tesla private for X amount of dollars, per share.
Yeah.
Blatantly illegal. Blatantly against every SEC regulation at all.
They slapped his wrist. Did you see that?
Did they even fine him for that? I can't even remember.
I don't think so. I mean, he and Trump, I don't know what it is, like, when you get to a certain network.
He short-squeezed his own fucking company.
I know.
And just crushed a whole slew of people.
People do that with cryptocurrencies now, and no one gives a fuck. No. It's crazy. It's crazy, dude.
I mean,
Elizabeth Holmes, she technically, like, defrauded a bunch of super rich people and potentially misdiagnosed how many, like, thousands with, saying they don't have cancer when they do, or the opposite. And they're like, wow. That's 11 years. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah. She's a mom of 2 kids. Like, what are we gonna do? It's not like she did that as, like, a way to get sympathy from the court. What are you talking about? No.
No.
We are a very powerful body of the government.
Well, have fun in the clink, baby. You're going away and enjoy it. But
Jordan Belfort he's an idol now. Yeah, no, he definitely didn't do anything wrong. No, we should idolize the Wolf on Wall Street. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give the hand clap. But we're talking about defrauding. There's the jump off point. Because you know who got fucking defrauded this weekend out of $100 was me and my kids as we went to go see fucking Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse.
Your kids didn't like it either?
They liked it walking out until Dad had to fucking ruin their parade.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
I was just like, that movie blew dick. And I liked the first one a ton.
I thought the first one's great. Yeah, the first one's
a ton.
I'm totally with you there. I think the first one's better, but I did like this one. I saw it with my dad just because, what else are you going to do on a Saturday? We were down the shore. I gotcha. And it was disgusting weather, so we're like, let's do it. Let's watch the movie.
The fog hadn't come in from the Canadian smoke. Before it was just natural bad weather.
Before everything was ruined by the Canadians. Thanks, guys. Man, I'm super curious to hear what you did not like, because it definitely wasn't as good as the first one. But
okay, I will start right here. It's not a movie. It's not a movie. There's no plot. There's nothing to the fucking movie. How can you have two and a half, not $1.30, not $1.45, not even $2.30 almost, and have zero plot? Nothing happens.
Man.
Everything is just a byproduct of the first movie, sending you to the third movie, and in this movie, zero happens.
So
Tell me I'm wrong.
Here's my thought, because I think the movie you can like clearly cut in half to me, and like I was gonna say spoiler warning, but I don't care. I'm just gonna go for it. But it's like the movie can
Snake kills
cut up
Dumbledore.
into two.
Snake kills
Yes.
Dumbledore.
Yeah. Whoops, dude. That was so funny. How many people got mad at that when that happened?
That was awesome.
Like when the Spot, and I know you have a problem with the Spot, who I liked because he seemed like a threat by the end of the movie. But like they just sort of give up on him. And notice my voice cracking there because I'm a child.
Don't worry, your balls will fall eventually.
Like he was a cool villain. They just kind of gave up on him like halfway through the movie after he became.
Hold
a
on,
threat.
again, stop. Why is he a cool villain?
Okay, so first off, he has portal powers, which are from a very cool video games.
Again, stop. Full stop. The only reason that he is cool is because he allows the animators to do all this funky punching through holes, et cetera, so they can do this action sequence, cartoon action sequence on camera. I mean, it's the portal gun from, I mean, it's actually a cartoon character, which I didn't think. I thought it was like some bullshit they created just to have this, but it is actually a cartoon comic book character in Spider-Man lore. But I mean, it's basically like the portal gun converted over to now, cartoon, so you can do this. But I mean, he is nobody. He's the guy that got hit with the bagel in the first one,
which is fun. Even though I'm seeing memes of that everywhere on the internet.
Is it fun? Is it fun to have a bad guy that is a fucking complete and utter zero?
Here's the thing. I think you would have liked him. The problem is
you don't know anything about him.
The movie, like if the movie was just the first half of the movie is him like getting super powered, and then whatever the last half of this next movie that's come out, because I did not know this was a two-parter when I walked in.
Nor did I, until I texted you and you wrote me in the movie. Yeah,
no, exactly. And I was like, because I was like, there's no fucking way they're going to be able to wrap this up. Like, they're going to have to split this up or something. And then that's exactly what it turns out they're going to do. So the next movie's coming out in 9 months or something crazy. If this was one movie and whatever storyline they're going to go, because the last half of the movie is literally just Miles doing a chase scene with a bunch of other Spider-Man.
It's exactly.
Yeah, it's a video game sequence, and I thought it was fun, and I liked it, but in terms of like a story, the level of blue balls this movie gives you at the very end is extreme.
Let's just rewind. Remind me again, how did they set it off that they started the chase scene? The chase scene was the last 45 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And there was nothing to it. Spider-Man, Miles Morales, is basically running from Isaac Asimov, a.k.a. Poe Dameron, a.k.a. the terrible Apocalypse.
I liked his character. Oh, my God, that's right. That was him.
Yeah, that was him.
I liked it. Like, the character design was cool. The references were fun. The thing with the first one, like, its theme.
Oh my God, you're grasping at straws here, saying the references were fun.
They were fun. Like, I was like, oh, there's video game Spider-Man. There's like the Spider-Man animated series I like saw growing up and shit. But just this movie until the second one comes out, and I know because this really feels like I watched half of a movie, and even then, I think I understand where you're feeling shortchanged because it's like they could have made this one movie and they artificially lengthened it by throwing that fucking chase scene in there at the end, which was fun. But like, if you're going there for just like I want to have like a good another movie like the last one, you're not getting that.
Not only you're not getting that. Look, if you want to do a quick comparison to a middle movie, right? It's the one that everybody goes back to, but let's just go back to Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Empire Strikes Back did accomplish nothing. There was nothing in that movie that did get accomplished. However, you did have a begin, middle, and end. And separate pieces that made sense that when you were at the end, you did conclude with a a big lightsaber
Yeah.
battle that revealed that the main bad guy was actually the father of the main good guy, which is a huge reveal, and kind of like just left you there waiting.
Yeah.
Before the internet, for people that can remember those times,
Yeah,
and you were just
way
sitting there
back.
for years waiting. Oh my God, how is that going to end? This, I don't give a shit how it ends.
It's also so this one, and I think the main thing that I just figured out is that the Empire Strike, like the first Star Wars trilogy, because we don't speak of the others, each one of those movies, if this makes sense, felt like a complete movie. Like you walked out of there, and
Yes.
there was an apprehension for the next one, but you're like, well, that was a whole movie that had a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Right, and you would watch it
This
again and be
one-
like, okay, I'm complete. I'm good.
And so Empire Strike Back, I don't remember the exact length. Let's say it's like a 2-hour-long movie. This one is, we're going to give you 2.5 hours of a 5-hour movie, if that makes sense.
Yes!
Like this is not Spider-Verse 1, 2, and 3. This is Spider-Man 1.5, and you're going to get the other 0.5% for Spider-Verse 2 in another 9 months.
Right. Well,
That's what I think it was.
This was if the first, what was it, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse? Or
Something like that. Into the Spider-Verse? Yeah, something like that.
So this was Spider-Man Miles Morales 2A. And now you have to wait for Spider-Man Miles Morales 2B in order to watch all of 2. It's not even a trilogy. It's just a 2-movie
I'm kind of
set.
shocked they got away with that because I didn't know it was a 2-parter. I mean, I was not really following this movie. I just assumed it was going to be good.
I'm surprised nobody's calling them out on it.
I think it's just because it's coming so soon in 9 months. I'm assuming that's why. And then
It's still 9 fucking months.
I saw this. I saw Guardians 3. I've been on a good superhero movie kick.
I haven't seen
recently.
Guardians 3. We'll save it for after I watch it.
And I'm telling you, I am tempted to watch Thor not Thor Ragnarok. What's the new one? Thor
Love and Thunder. Ugh.
Just to get back in because I think
Barfaroo.
I think half of it is just people have gone 2 years of not a single good superhero movie. Like you're walking out of Ant-Man and
Been a long
Thor
time.
Love and Thunder and Black Panther Wakanda, which I have not seen, but I'm sorry, there's no Chadwick Boseman. There's no way it was
Wakanda
as
Forever,
good as-
terrible.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just you've been getting super subpar movies. And so this one had really good animation. Also, this is the longest animated movie ever made, and they made it into 2 parts. The fucking balls on Sony to be like, yeah, you're going to watch the second part. Yeah.
It
Yeah, you're gonna
was
watch it. What are you
such
gonna do?
a goddamn cash grab. I can't even begin. That was all right. Let me just go through because this is. I was texting Will
Yeah.
while I'm watching this movie, losing my goddamn mind, and this was the little dialogue I envisioned. Everybody does this on YouTube, but this was the meeting in the executive offices of Sony when they start talking about the new movie. So what's
Yeah.
our idea for the next Miles Morales movie?
Well, hold up. You got to do it right. So, what is the good idea for the next Miles Morales movie?
All right, look, we're going to have him fight Spot, a superhero. He's connected to the past movie, but we never really discussed him at all or thoroughly defined him. It doesn't fucking matter. Spot randomly jumps through different dimensions, and he breaks shit, and Miles is going to fuck up the Spider-Man Illuminati's plan. What? The Illuminati? Look, don't worry. It'll
Don't
work,
worry about it.
and people will accept it. It also gives us the ability to throw a shit ton of ethnic Spider-Man characters in there. Okay, but Spot, no. He's super fucking cool because he jumps through portals and shit, and he does it'll let us do all these cool animations on the screen. Kids are gonna love it. But Spider-Man character. Look, here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna be able to make tons of money across the globe because we're going to give every nationality their own Spider-Man. And
I will say I am shocked they didn't because they did Indian Spider-Man and I was like, ka-ching when I saw that character.
Mumbattan instead of Manhattan. Mumbattan.
Dude, okay, first up, if we were
Are
at
you
UBS,
are you kidding me?
If we were still at UBS working on our whole team, How often will we hear about Indian Spider-Man team?
I'll
Every
tell you.
day.
I'll tell you what Indian Spider-Man is. Indian Spider-Man is a Spider-Man that continually just slings himself into fucking walls and falls down, and always lets a bad guy get away, and then has to redo it 5 fucking times before he gets it.
And then
gets it
says,
right.
hey, Rich and Will, can you help us out with this really quick?
It's unfucking believable. It'll take him 10 fucking movies to finally capture the bad guy.
Yeah.
And then at that, it'll be half-assed done.
Yeah, we had a fun experience with some people in Mumbai as just some background. Yeah, they were
Mumbattan. Mumbattan. Like, oh, come
they
on.
they didn't do Chinese Spider-Man, which I got to be honest, I was like, that's the easiest layup of their life, and I was shocked they did not do that.
And then the punk rock. I mean, what are you doing? You're doing like the Sex Pistols. You do
yeah, I was fine with him. I mean, there was
fine, but come on, who's interested in that?
the only thing that like really irked me in the plot was because I liked Peter B. Parker. He was my favorite character in the last one, besides Miles.
Yeah, and they gave him a kid and made him like irrelevant in this one.
Well, yeah, he was irrelevant, but the thing that annoyed me was at the very end of the movie, it's like he's going to go help out Miles. Instead of, like, suiting up, he's like, let me bring my kid along again. And I'm like,
come on.
What the fuck? Like, why do you bring it? Like,
well, it worked for Mando. It worked for all these other, it worked for The Last of Us. We'll just give him a kid. So anyway, let's just rewind real quick.
Which is fine to give him the kid, but I don't know why you're like, and now he's going to bring it into this dangerous situation. I'm like, this is just going to be for a bunch of like stupid baby jokes in the next one. God damn it.
I mean, let's just go back to the Sony offices. So, okay, but it sounds boring as fuck. Yeah, but then you just don't get it, okay? Trust us. We're going to talk about canon events and then tell Miles his dad must die. What? See, that got your interest. That got it, right? Yeah. His dad has to die, and that lets us do nothing for the next 40 minutes as Miles goes rogue and just jumps through dimensions and the Illuminati. That again? Fuck you. It rocks. And Poe Dameron.
That part was also confusing because they got like really into like, well, a police captain that knows Spider-Man always dies. And I was like, that's shockingly specific of a story beat just to be able to like say his dad's going to die. Because but I'm sorry, isn't it usually like an Uncle Ben figure and that already happened to Miles? So why is it also going to be like, what the fuck is it?
I knew I had it in that thing, but that's what it was, right? They told him his dad had to die, and then he lost his mind, and he was like, my dad has to die? No, that's not going to happen. I'm going to fix everything. And then he goes like, jumping through dimensions. Like, come on.
Yeah, he got like the vision of his dad dying or something like that, which is like, I don't know. Okay, guys, because they killed his dad off in the video game for no reason, which I don't understand, because I thought like
I haven't played that one yet. That's the new Spider. That's the new one.
The PS4 one from a couple years ago. Yeah,
I didn't play that one yet.
Yeah, I mean, the moment you meet Miles' dad, like you just see like the fucking like the knife above his head. You're like, this character's got like 4 more like seconds to live. 100%. He's like, yeah, I love my son Miles. He's pretty similar to you, Peter, because I know who you are because you helped me out in this one case and we're buddies. Man, I'd be really bummed if I didn't get to, see him grow older. And you're like, yeah, we're going to make sure that never happens to you, Mr. Morales. I'm sorry.
See you later, buddy.
Morales. Glad there's not going to be some crazy explosion out of nowhere that'll kill you.
Oh, that's right. He's becoming a lieutenant. His dad is becoming a lieutenant in this one, And then they go, oh, my God. And then they did this stupid, done 8 million times before, when you jump through your multiverse portal, guess what? You're not in Kansas anymore because you're not in your reality. And then sure enough, when Spider-Man finally figures out that he's not in his actual reality, because as Poe Dameron told him, the spider that bit you actually came from Universe 42.
Did that catch you? That caught me off guard. Maybe I'm just stupid because I just did not register what dimension Miles came from. So I forgot that was happening. And then I was like, oh, that's...
I didn't understand it until they basically just told it to you through verbiage.
I still liked the movie. The animation I thought was insanely cool.
Hold on. But so of course he realizes. Yeah. Well, the audience realizes. We're actually not in his reality. Now, what was that? That was just done in another movie or TV show. where it was like it was Quantumania. They think one of the conspiracy theories is that when Scott Lang went
That's
back,
way too creative. That's way too creative of a theory. So that's how I know the MCU wouldn't do it. Lord and Miller have at least like proven themselves with most of their like movies so far.
Well, it's just that it's been done before, and so they did it again here. And then, God, there's so many famous movies that did the same thing, where all of a sudden they turn around and they look around and they're like, "Oh my God, we're not in the world that we thought we were in."
Yeah,
and
I
sure
was
enough,
curious about Evil Miles being the Prowler and why he had
so that's where I was going.
He had the Tekashi 6ix9ine haircut, which I think is the stupidest looking thing I've ever seen.
I mean, where are your dreads, dude? So anyway, as it goes, the story says that he ends up landing in the Universe 42, which is where the radioactive spider
The meaning of life. Yep, the meaning
actually
of life.
Was, but it went through the portals to Miles. So in this reality, the radioactive spider never bit him, and so Miles ends up becoming the Prowler, and it's his dad that dies. And so he's like, and he sees his mom, and he's like, "Mom, I'm Spider-Man," and she's like, "Who the fuck are you? I don't even know who you are." And it's like, oh, okay. And then it turns out that Miles is a bad guy, and he's actually the Prowler. And that was like the big reveal. And then all of a sudden, it's Gwen Stacy, and she's coming to the rescue with all these other 8 million Spider-Men, and they're going to get him in Spider-Man 2A, 2B, 2, whatever, 4, 5, 6. Money grab number 12 million.
Oh, thank you. The merchandise. Why'd you make all these different Spider-Man in the Spider-Man movie?
It was so merchandising. It was.
That's it. Did you see?
Spaceballs merchandising.
I'm sure you saw, but like Sony has announced like literally an armada of Spider-Man movies that are going to like branch off from this one. They're making a Spider-Woman movie. They're making a Gwen Stacy solo. They're making a Jessica Drew one. They're really going for the same like. I don't know. I mean, listen, they're probably gonna make an Indian Spider-Man movie. I don't know. It's a jumping off point for a whole bunch of different franchises.
They're gonna do 8 million because Sony obviously from this movie has proven to you, and obviously I guess the last one too, across the it was No Way Home, No Way Home, yeah, that was right. It was Homecoming, it was Far From Home, and then No Way Home.
It's the only franchise where people seem to like the multiverse concept actually coming into play, but it's also
that's only because
only one where they do it really, except for Doctor Strange, which was terrible.
Right. Well, the only reason that the Spider-Man one worked is because it was 2 renditions. The first one people loved, the new one people loved because it's MCU related, and then the middle one, people just dug Star Wars, and there was some people, myself included, that I kind of liked Andrew Garfield as that Spider-Man. I know that everybody hated him. I didn't.
Yeah, but I didn't like him. I liked him in the new one, weirdly, but I hated Amazing Spider-Man. But Amazing Spider-Man was also
those two movies stunk. I just liked him as whatever. So I mean that's why it worked because people like Spider-Man. They did it 3 different ways, and they kind of brought it together in something that made sense, right? So, but now, I mean, Sony is just like, look, we are going to milk this cow until we can even ruin Spider-Man, right? Like the 2 superheroes that have been proven that you can do whatever with and you won't kill it necessarily is Batman and Spider-Man. You can use them as much as you want, and it seems to be that people will ultimately not get sick of them or give them as many second chances as possible. But Sony is going to try their goddamnedest to ruin this Spider-Man and this Batman.
It really is just those 2, huh? Those are the only 2 I can ever think of that just sort of work out no matter what situation you kind of put them in.
Superman's dead. They tried to redo that. It didn't work
Superman,
out.
They've been trying to like make him turn evil in every storyline for the last like 15 years, and I don't know why. So everyone's like, okay. They've just given up on trying to have like any creative stories with him, and they just like, no, what if he's the bad guy? You're like, that's what you got? You're the same as everybody else that's walked through the DC office? Like, yeah.
Right.
Be creative. Have you seen my Aquaman movie? That's clearly not my strong suit.
No. The Flash, they did 2 TV shows or 3 TV shows. Now they've done him in the movies, and he's done. They're done with him.
How much more longer do you think we have to deal with this multiverse bullshit? Because I'm going to be honest. Like, I totally agree with some of your critiques with the Spider-Verse thing, but I did still really like the movie.
I don't want you to dislike it. You have to acknowledge it's not a movie.
No, it's
It's an
I don't
experience.
even wanna-
It's a theatrical experience.
I don't even want to pass judgment on it because half of it isn't out yet. Like I feel like I got up to go to the bathroom.
I know, but
halfway
that's not a
through.
movie, man.
Yeah, I stepped out to go to the bathroom halfway through, and then my friend starts talking to me outside. I just get lost. I'm like, oh fuck, I missed the rest of the movie. I got to go see the rest of it before I can judge it. And it's just like, no, you saw all of it. It's just you got to wait 9 months before they show you the second half.
I have never in a movie, and my father-in-law went to the movie with both my sons and I. I have never audibly grunted and been angry in a movie. And at one point, my father-in-law looked over at me because I was like. And he was just like, what the hell? And I was just angry. I was like, they're not doing anything in this movie. They're not going to do anything. And this was before I texted you. And I was like, what the hell are they doing? There's no bad guy.
I did that
Spot is not a bad guy.
I did it for The Rise of Skywalker, and I did it for Ridley Scott's movie with Christian Bale where they did the Moses myth, and it was terrible. You don't need to. It was terrible. I just remember getting up out of my seat in the middle of that movie, and my uncle's like, where are you going? I'm like, this movie fucking sucks. I just can't anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that was this movie. I really wanted to get up and leave. And
man, that's so interesting. Yeah, wow.
But you know that there's got to be one more reveal, right? Because the big reveal of, Miles Morales as the bad Prowler. Not to mention they made him a bad Prowler. Nobody cares about the Prowler. The Prowler is another. We're going to give you Spot and the Prowler. Holy Jesus. Two guys I don't have any interest in is the Spot and the Prowler.
I like the Prowler. I would never have cared about ever until the last Spider-Verse movie because he had the cool, he was basically a new twist on the Uncle Ben formula that you've seen 3 times before, which you're tired of. And then, clearly he has that emotional moment with Miles throughout the movie, and he has that really cool siren sound whenever he appeared on screen.
I know, but
at least in the first one, I just thought he had said such presence.
But the bad guy in the first one was the Kingpin. Right,
but,
and I mean, you did also have Dr. Octopus.
He was a secondary antagonist. Yeah, he was a secondary antagonist, if anything. But he was such a cool concept and twist on a villain that you never would have cared about. And they kind of did that for Spot too. I'm not in the PS4 game. They brought the Prowler because there's another version of Miles Morales in that, and they do the kind of similar storyline with the Prowler being his uncle. That Prowler was nowhere near as cool as the one from the movie.
Gotcha.
He also has this futuristic Iron Man suit and shit, and he's kind of the same thing where he's a bounty hunter who's maybe evil or something, but he likes his family. But just the presence was not there from the first Spider-Verse. So I like this version of the Prowler. At least they kind of had from the first one. But I don't know, man. It's we're halfway through. It's a half of a movie.
Yeah, it's a half of a movie. It's what it is.
It wasn't Spider-Verse 2. Yeah, it was Spider-Man 1.5.
Yeah. Hold on one second as my son has come down here to interrupt me as I'm doing a podcast per his usual. So hold on one second and we'll be right back. And we're back. So anyway, where we were talking about everything related to the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Miles Morales, and how this was just a steaming pile of turd. Now, bad guys aside, even the good guys I wasn't into because the dynamic with the first movie between Spider-Ham, which was funny, the Nicolas Cage,
who was
Spider-Noir was fun. What other Spider-Man was it? Gwen. Then there was Peter B. Parker.
Yeah, Peter B. He was my favorite, along with. I was just such a cool.
Right, and then the Asian girl Spider-Man that was a Spider-Man machine, right?
Yeah, that thing, or whatever it was.
Right. So, but all of them and the dynamic between them was really fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and Aunt May had the, she was kind of in on the whole thing. Remember? Because she was
she was the Superman Alfred.
She was Alfred. That's right.
Alfred,
she was a Superman Alfred, right? So, but that whole thing together, it was fun. It was a fun watch. This one, it was Gwen. And it was, and then they did the whole thing with Gwen and her dad and I mean, come on. This movie isn't about Gwen. She's a side piece. She's a side
Have you
piece.
seen
Patrice O'Neal,
the
get yourself some
fucking
side piece.
side piece?
Get yourself a side piece.
Have you seen like the fucking? I don't know why this is popping on my Twitter, but this is the one thing I don't have Twitter, but my Instagram. There's all these like people that are like, that movie was so inspiring because of Gwen Stacy's clearly trans-inspired story, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what? Where are people getting? You remember in English class when your English teacher would go, so when you read this chapter of the book, what do you think the author meant by there being blue curtains in the room? Was it to highlight the sadness or the depressed state of the character and how there's an ominous feeling overlooking them? Like, I'm pretty sure the author meant that the curtains were fucking blue. Like, I think that's what it was. And
it's not like you're watching the Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, where he literally put something in every single scene.
Yeah, and people are just like, to me, it's just, you can't let there just be a female Spider-Man. Like, I'm just getting like offended on behalf of women now, where I'm like, you got to take that away from them too.
Well, oddly enough, that comes. I couldn't figure out. I always, since his inception,
yeah,
I always was under the impression that Miles Morales was a homosexual black Spider-Man. Is he not homosexual? Because then I went and I thought he always was, and then I went online and I searched it up because when they started doing the whole Gwen, then I got super pissed because I was like, why are you changing his whole background just so that you give him a love interest? And because I was under the assumption he was gay.
Black, Puerto Rican, gay, and he was worried about what college he was going to go to in that movie. What are you talking about?
He could have anything he wanted.
Yeah.
It was like, you name it. Sky's the limit, baby.
Limit, dude. And your dad's a black police dude. You are set, buddy.
But then I looked it up, and I guess I was wrong because I guess it was like a misconception about him, and Marvel never established that was the fact. And
they'll have a version of him that is maybe the evil version we'll see in the movie. He's bi. I don't know.
But that threw me off just because of my background, knowledge of the character was wrong, and so I was like, oh, Sony's taking all these liberties, and they're just trying to do this for the guy girl. Why does there always have to be a guy girl relationship?
Discovery Plus tried to insinuate that Abraham Lincoln had 4 gay lovers earlier this week. So like,
I heard it was 6 though.
Why not? Why not? Maybe he is 6 feet 4 inches tall, so maybe it's 1 for each foot that he is.
There you go.
Yeah,
and then a midget for the other 4.
You stole my joke, son of a bitch! Damn it.
Great minds think alike.
We had it. Yeah. What do you think he's hiding in that hat? There you go. But
sorry, vertically challenged people. I'm sorry.
Vertically challenged.
I don't mean midgets. That's like the bad word for that. So.
We're gonna get canceled the moment we criticize Indian Spider-Man, dude. Like, come on, what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I'm just criticizing him because I'm just saying, based on prior experience, that he probably would take 5 to 10 times trying to catch.
Let's get our stuff
his
ready
villain
for
and get to the end.
Let's
cross
get
the
everything
ball across the goal line. I'm just saying.
We have a YouTube apology video we have to start writing right here. I am so sorry. I was not as big a fan of Spider-Verse as everybody else.
Well, maybe he was. No. Yeah, it all depends. Maybe the Mumbai Spider-Man was actually able to get an H-1 visa and come over to the United States. So maybe he was one of the more qualified Indian, Middle Eastern Spider-Man. I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but it's possible that he was the H-1 visa and he was talented at what he did.
Mumbai.
Because if he was in a call center out in Mumbai, I doubt he was going to be swinging to the rescue anytime soon.
He would not be the most helpful character. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, dude, no, it was so interesting.
I was surprised that you were like, dude, I really liked it. And I was like, dude, take the animation out of it. It's just not a movie.
I still think it was good. I totally agree that it was not as strong as the first one. Like, this one's just going to be... Like, the first one, I feel like you could just turn on whenever, and you're just going to, like, a satisfying, solid movie. And this one's just... I'm trying to, like, think of something I can compare it to. But there's some movies that you just have on the Rolodex where you're just like, I'm feeling like watching this movie because it was a really good one. And, like, that's Into the Spider-Verse. And this one's going to be like, I want to watch Across the Spider-Verse. Oh, wait, that means it's a 5-hour commitment because I have to watch the sequel. I can't just watch this one.
Sure. It's literally like watching Super Bowl 42, Giants versus the Patriots. Patriots going for the undefeated record. Giants only thing standing in their way. And then 4 minutes left in the game, they just end the broadcast. And then you're just sitting there.
Yeah, like, what just happened?
That's what it is. and you don't know what happened because they are not going to tell you until later.
Gotta wait 9 months, man.
9 months. 9 months.
Yeah.
I mean, it just. I was offended.
There'll be
so
40
much.
more MCU movies out by that point.
And just to spend $100, like between
$100, yeah.
between tickets and popcorn and everything else, I just was so irate. I really, I think I wrote it to you. I wanted to punch a nun in the face.
Yeah.
And I don't know why a nun, but that was just what I was thinking when I was that angry.
That's just what came up.
And I don't condone violence or beating up
or nun beatings.
Very religious figures,
Very
but
bad.
at that moment, I would have slugged,
all
Mary
hands on deck, dude.
Mary right in the jaw. It was
just
not an enjoyable experience for me. So I mean, you didn't have any of those thoughts though watching the movie.
I just felt very blue-balled, and there are like a couple things that like slightly annoyed me, but overall I liked it. I mean, the animation was just so crazy cool to me because I just
Agreed.
I love it.
No arguments from me. It was a pretty movie to watch.
Yeah, I just it wasn't as good as the first one, but I like Lord and Miller. They've not fucked up yet, and also like I am very curious as well, just because now that I'm thinking about Lord and Miller, because they were the ones originally doing that Solo a Star Wars story, and then Disney apparently saw what they were doing, and then Disney was like, "Oh, you're going to change everything. We're not allowing this to happen." And then they went, "Okay, goodbye. We're not doing this."
Well, I'm a little hesitant because Lego Movie 1 was awesome. Lego Movie 2, not so much.
They didn't do that one apparently. That was another
Oh, they
guy.
didn't do that one. I thought they did. Okay.
No.
All right, so they were off the hook there. Spider-Man, the first Across the Spider-Verse movie, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, not so much. So I don't know. I mean, they do. What else have they done? Or they just done?
They've done other stuff. Let me see. What is it? Phil Lord, Chris Miller. Let's look it up. Look it up on the box here.
I mean, look, you're done with this movie, and then you're thinking, okay, they have to conclude.
They did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Lego Movie, 21 and 22 Jump Street. Those were fun.
Yeah, they were fun. They were unique.
Spider-Verse. They did some show called Clone High that looks like they got rebooted somehow. I don't know how they did that. They were the directors for Solo, and then they got kicked off.
And they got kicked off.
And then they were uncredited, so whatever they were doing,
way,
he was not a fan of.
I just watched Solo last weekend. It was playing, I think on TNT, was doing all the oddball Star Wars movies that weren't part of the trilogies. It's not bad. It really isn't.
It's not.
It's a little slow, but it's not bad.
It's not the best one, clearly. But it's far from the worst. But
it feels like a Star Wars movie. Unlike some of the other ones.
The only thing that really grinded my gears about Solo was
90-year-old grinding my gears.
I know. Only thing that really grinds my gears was there's this one character in the movie who's like this gigantic fighter who looks like this massive 7-foot tall like bounty hunter in this cool armor. And then at some point they take off their armor and they reveal themselves as rebels, and it's this like 5'5" red-haired girl. And it is such a that's not who that just was. Like, you clearly had a body double who was 2 feet taller than who was here before, and you just swapped it out with like the most like 5th grade looking girl you could possibly find and say, no, this is who the cool bounty hunter who was fighting you guys earlier in the movie was. And she's also super noble, by the way, and she's also every Star Wars rebel character that you've ever met ever in your life. So we're going to completely remove any fun concept for who this character could have been.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I again...
She was Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, that video game, if you played it with the red hair.
No.
It's just like... It looks identical if you pull Aloy. If you look that up, it's the same character.
I would have been interested to see this Solo trilogy play out because with the Darth Maul reveal at the end, I thought they could have done a lot of stuff with it. And
I would have been curious to see the Game of Thrones guys' Star Wars trilogy come out, but that's gone.
Yeah, that's gone too. They do kind of need to just start fresh with all new characters in a completely different world with like lightsabers and the Force.
No,
Those are the two things
how
to
are they
keep.
how are they gonna take characters that you love and ruin them? I don't understand.
Well, they're trying. Sony's trying really hard right now to do that with Spider-Man.
Oh, they're doing their best.
So,
I
all
still
right.
think it's
Well, no. Continue your thought.
No, I was gonna say I still think it was solid, even though I do not doubt you whatsoever that the moment this expands, which it's clearly going to an absurd degree, it's gonna get trashed. Like it's just one of those things where it's like watching the MCU again, where you like Iron Man 1, and the moment there's like a certain breaking point, you're like, oh, this is in the mainstream, which means they're going full steam ahead until they absolutely ruin this.
They're gonna try. They're trying their damnedest. I mean, it's like the kid that keeps, playing with the plastic toy and throwing the plastic toy all over the place, and you're like, look, dude, Anthony, you keep doing it, it's going to break, and then it's broken, and you're going to be super pissed off because you're not going to be able to use it anymore. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, it was like, there it goes, up against the wall, and poof, it fucking just breaks, shatters all over the place, and kids crying, oh, my toy, my favorite toy. Well, you know what? I told you. I told you a million times.
Yep.
Don't be that rough with it. You're going to break it,
There's zero chance it's going to be good. So the new Spider-Verse, I think this, if this is their last bit of the trilogy that it was never originally, I think that'll be solid. And then I have no hope for any of the movies that come afterward because I'm sure the animation will start getting a little less cool looking and expensive, and the stories will get worse. And there'll be more just, look at this Spider-Man toy, buy it today! Yeah, Long Island Spider-Man, Spider-Man from Detroit, Spider-Man Canada.
Hey,
like,
you hoser! I'm going to shoot you
hoser?
with my webs, you hoser!
Yeah, oh, God.
All right, so let's end it like this then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then let's give me, as I try to find the bumper music here, give me your best guess as to how they end the Spider-Verse trilogy.
How they end? Well, obviously they stop the spot and they appreciate Miles, and then they find out that there's other Miles that are also Spider-Man. That's it. Boom.
There's got to be a reveal. Give me the reveal. What's the big reveal?
Miles is gay.
There it is. I said it all along. I was right. They convinced me I was wrong, and I was right.
I've been wanting to have sex with Peter this whole time, Glenn. I'm sorry. You're like, oh, whoa, I didn't see that coming.
I was going to go with, the Kingpin comes back, and he's been behind the thing the whole time.
That'd be better.
Yeah, fuck it. It's not nearly as funny or as apropos, is that the right terminology, as fucking Miles Morales is gay. That's the big reveal.
Movie ends with him and Miguel O'Hara making out. There you go. Boom. Drop
right.
mic.
In a tuck-friendly one-piece bathing suit from Target.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. Yeah, even better.
There you go. All right, well, to be continued. Wrapping up. I'm going to go hit the carnival with the kiddies.
Nice.
All the best. Everybody else enjoy. You have fun with your capstone BS, and I'm sure I'll text you shortly.
Peace, brother.
All right, see you, everybody. Howdy.
Boom.